let's welcome our next speaker, Will from Assembly. Let's give him a round of applause.
So, I'm Wilfrido. That's my handle in GitHub, Nuqui. So, as she said, I'm working for Philippine. For tonight, I'll be doing a regular Ruby meetup talk. Okay. So, last time I talked about testing, some tips. Well, that one was just a lightning talk, but for now, it's a regular one. So, yeah. So I've been doing Ruby work for like a decade. And then, yeah, I've been doing testing for like 8 or 9 years. So, yep, I've seen a lot of testing. So yeah, with that experience in testing, there's this one time wherein I actually asked, why don't we add a test for a test group? Did you get that? Test for your test group. Yeah. Yeah, testing your test. Yeah, did that cross your mind? Anyone here?
It's similar to like simple call, so test coverage.
Oh, well, I can give you a bit of context or background. Like, whenever you have this application and then you show your test, your setup, or like a seeding, or like helper methods, and then it's like a bit complicated. But those abstractions do not have tests, but you still use them. I mean, those abstractions are no different with your production code, right? So why not add tests for those test code? Those abstractions, those helper code are still part of the test code, right? So if ever those abstractions are, those abstractions can introduce false positive, right? So if they break, what will happen with your tests, right? So can we add tests for our test group? So I actually tweeted that question, but apparently I received void responses. So yeah, so I did not receive. I even in my previous company, I received this smirks, right? So they just smiled at me. Huh? Those are test groups. Why do we need to add tests for our test group? Yeah. But yeah, again, as I told you, I've been doing a lot of tests, and then sometimes at one look I can say that, is this a test or is this a mess, right? So I mean, so yeah, that actually is the point of my talk. So yeah, it's very difficult because if you will add a test for your test code, you can also add tests for your test code, right? So you will not finish. So yeah, it's a bit. So I think during those time when I asked that question, I think I'm going nowhere. So yep. So yeah. So what I did to answer that question, to test or not to test your test code, I just look at the composition of our test code. So let us see some test code. Okay, so here's my demo application. Let's check the commits for this demo application. I just use simple Rails applications since most of us are, I think, are Rails developer. The other option is just a gem. So, but yeah, I ended up just using a Rails application. So as you can see, I generate this Rails app. That Rails app is an API Rails app using Rails 5. And then for setup, I use RSpec for unit testing. And then I use guard RSpec for this one, auto intelligent relance specs when files are modified. Okay, so this one will provide the library for executable examples. So you can use describe, context, etc. And then the guard RSpec, so whenever you have your changes, RTest will auto run. And then next one, code coverage. Yep, super cool. And then for factoring Rails. Okay. So RSpec is a library that we use to write tests, and then whenever we have changes, we will auto run our specs via guard RSpec, and then to check our coverage using simple go, and then factor. Now we can try to check sample test. So again, what I'm trying to show you here is that we will try to dissect a sample test code. We will try to identify the parts. What are these? What are the tools used? So we can answer if we need to write tests or not to write tests. Okay, so let's go here, and then let's see this first spec, the controller one. Okay, as you can see, it's a typical Rails controller spec. Okay, the RSpec, we can use this describe for our executable example. And then another describe here, then the if block, and then the expectations, actual, expected, okay, nested context. Okay, so basically, as you can see with the code, I never use a code, a helper code, custom matcher here, and I just use what RSpec and the other tools are provided. So my test is using those constructs, those code from RSpec and other libraries. And if you will try to inspect RSpec, you can find there that those methods have their tests, right? So we have our first clue. Those that we are using already have tests, right? Cool. So and then these are tools, testing tools. So I'm using testing tools. Okay, so I'm using testing tools, and then those testing tools, those frameworks, those auxiliary tools have their tests. And then as you can, you will try to inspect or check the code. This is just a one hard work. So well, it's still readable, but yeah, still just a one hard work. So it's readable because I'm just using those construct those methods are provided by RSpec. And then they are simple. They are simple in logic. They are easy to understand. Pause, expect. So no other code. We're not yet seeing here any helper or any abstractions that I made just to help us to check a particular method or class. Okay. Okay. So with that, we can say that we should not write tests because, as I said, we're using tools, libraries, frameworks, auxiliary tools, and those tools have their own tests. Okay, so we're not going to write tests. We can be assured that our tests we are confident that our tests are okay. Okay? And then now, that's the to not write test. What about the other part? Because if you just discuss about that, or if we will just stop on that not to write test, it's a bit biased, right? So there's still a situation wherein we need to write test for our test code. Remember, test code. A test code is this, wherein we do expectations. And then a test code is also this one, the helper, because we're using that to accomplish or to write our test. So it's not just expect, pause, or if. Okay? So I have one example here. I wrote a custom matcher, this one. Let's just pretend we do not have the B of custom matcher, okay? So let's just pretend here that the RSpec team does not yet write that matcher. So as a Ruby programmer, I need my test to be readable. So I introduce this BHTTP 200 custom matcher. Okay, so let's try to check the definition of this one. Remember, I'm not using code that provided that is provided by a library here or auxiliary tools. I am now using a method that I wrote. It's a custom matcher. Let's see the custom matcher. Okay, cool. This is the custom matcher that I wrote. Okay, well, for this example, it's just very easy to understand. But in real application, this can be like more than 10 lines or more than several files. But the point here that I want to convey is that when we try to write this, it's inevitable to produce or to write abstractions, helper codes, in order for us to assist to our test, right? Sometimes you can just copy-paste those helper codes from Stack Overflow, right? So that's a cargo thing. But that's dangerous. You're not even doing test for that, or not sure about those abstractions, right? So whenever you introduce something that is not, or that's not from libraries, from tools, that's the time, the other side, that you need to write tests for your test code. Cool? Got that? So that's just easy, but this is just for illustration. So that's my test code, helper code, my abstraction, and I need to add tests for that test code. So let's now check the test code, the test for that test code. Okay, so let's just append here underscore RSpec. Okay, so it's a two example spec file. So I have this it passes when status 200. I use double here from our RSpec max library, and then this one 201. So you have to expect response to be HTTP 200 because our status 200 this is expected to pass, and then the other one this is expected to fail. Right? So in real application, this can be more than two examples for the test, and then for the abstraction code, the helper code, more than one file, more than several lines of codes, right? And then usually these abstractions should be provided by a library, by a tool. So actually, whenever you find an abstractions that assist you in your test, most of the time, that abstraction can be canned into a pull request. So you can make a pull request for a particular library, so others can use that, right? Because a library should provide all the things that you need. But yeah, it's inevitable to encounter some things that we need, and then well, we do some Google searching or Stack Overflowing, but yeah, sometimes it is you that's the first who encounter that situation or that problem. Then you need to solve that. Then you need to provide application, abstraction code, helper code, and then you can, boom, suddenly, yeah, it can be a PR for a particular tool, right? And then when that happens, that abstraction will become part of the tool of the library. So whenever someone uses that, okay, you will not write test for this because it's a part of the tool, it's part of the library. It has this. So basically, that's just my talk. So yeah, now I have my own answer with my own question. Yeah, you typically ideal code. You don't need to write tests for your tests because you should be using tools, libraries, and not reinventing your own. And then whenever you bump into a situation wherein you are to write an abstraction, yeah, and it's a test code, then you need to write test, of course. Because you cannot just write code and then use your test code just to test your production code and leaving that abstraction untested, right? Because in a way, that's a disrespect to your production code because you have more trust or faith in your test, but not in your production code. Basically, that's just my talk. Write test or not write test. For your test.